Hi, I'm Dr. Colby Cohen-Archer, and I'm a psychologist at the Postpartum Adjustment Center. And I have teenagers at home, and I work with parents of young children. And today we are talking about some of the questions that we hear from our clients. Erin?
I'm Erin Salomon. I'm a licensed clinical social worker in private practice, and I work with teens and adults, and I have young kids. And I think we are hearing, as Colby said, a lot from our kids and our clients and our friends about what to do during this very strange time we're living in right now. And right now we're going to talk about homeschool because this is a new territory for all of us. So we have some thoughts about that.
Yeah. So I don't know about you, but having teenagers, my kids are a little bit nervous about what this is going to be like. As a parent, I'm a little bit nervous about what this is going to be like, and I've heard from a lot of my clients, how am I supposed to work and make sure that my kids are doing school? What if I can't really help them with this information? So there's a lot of anxiety, I think, about what this is going to be like. And one of the things that I think is really important to keep in mind is just to maybe lower the expectations a little bit. Some of my children's teachers have specifically put things out there for them that said, look, I'm worried. I'm thinking more about your emotional and social and physical health than I am worried that you're not going to, or you are going to learn this information. So when we're working with our children or helping our children, keeping that in mind, maybe helping them let go of the worry about grades just a little bit, and just focusing on doing the best they can. Some kids are going to learn really well over the computer, and some it's just not going to be their style of learning. And the teachers know that. So really trying to help them keep in mind that this is a first time for everyone, for them, for us, for their teachers, and to just kind of check their expectations, make them appropriate for this situation, and give them a sense of perspective. So kids don't have the perspective that adults do. We know that eventually things are going to return to a place where they should be going back to school, whether it's next year or at the end of this year. We know that we are going to find a new normal after this new normal, but many of them don't have that perspective because they just don't have the life experience. So really, when we're hearing their anxiety about school, trying to remind them about that can be really helpful.
Yeah, I think in addition to helping them lower their expectations about it and help put it into context, I think us doing that as well. I know for me, the first week that we were doing this, I felt all this pressure, self-imposed, about making sure my daughter's handwriting was continuing to improve, and all this pressure. And so I think lowering our expectations as parents and putting it into context for us that they're all going to miss the same amount of time at school, and they're all going to be going back into school, in the same boat, and that there's a lot of learning that can happen outside of the classroom. And so with my kids, because they're young, that's what I've tried to focus on a lot is, teaching them how to cook, playing hangman because it helps with their handwriting and letters. We've been learning how to build a fort. With older kids, maybe it's, how to change the oil in your car or how to sew a button on or any of these life skills. So much learning can happen outside of the classroom. And, it's much better, I think, for the kids and for the family if you kind of let go of that expectations and think to yourself, okay, fine. It's fine if they have 30 minutes extra of screen time rather than me trying to clamp down and get them to learn this one specific thing that causes me stress and causes them stress and then causes tension and chaos in the family. So letting them let go. Yeah.
Letting go. I think to help them be successful too, we can help them create a schedule. So school is very regimented, and home may or may not be, depending on your house. So at least this is my plan for my house, and I think which has been working for some of the other people that I know, is to help your kids create a schedule for themselves. And it may be similar to what the schedule was at school, or it may be very different. I know adolescents, their circadian rhythm tends to be a little bit later. So even though high school starts at 8:25, maybe you don't start till 9:25, but you don't start at 2 in the afternoon, ideally, because they still do need to somewhat keep in line with the rest of the family. So helping your kids age appropriately come up with a schedule where they can do their different classes and take breaks. They have an opportunity to take more breaks now. And in some ways, you can probably still mirror school, because the time between classes, they're not having to go anywhere. So that's a good time to run around the house, do some jumping jacks, get a snack, do things that are going to help them focus. But kids in general do better with a schedule. So just saying, here you go, children, go online, do whatever your teachers say, I'm out. That's probably not going to work quite as well. Thoughts, Erin?
I agree. Eating at about the same time every day, going to sleep about the same time every day. I think the value of getting dressed, I think, is important. Instead of hanging with pajamas all day and being on your cell phone in your room all day, waking up about the same time, getting dressed, eating at the same time. All of those things can help really. They help you stay focused with school, but more importantly, I think they really help with your mood.
They do. And they help you know what to expect. And since everything is so up in the air, really helping our children know what to expect day to day. Here's the school week, and here's the weekend. So keeping that separation if possible. Keeping a space. Actually, that's not exactly what to expect, but really helping your children have a space where they're going to do work. A dedicated space, and if you have multiple children, whether you decide to do a school type area where everybody's working around the dining room table, or everybody works in their room with doors open so that they're not watching a movie all day instead of being on the computer doing their work. Really helping your child find a dedicated space that doesn't have a whole lot of random household distractions can help them be successful. And maybe you do that with the whole family. If you're working and your kids are at school, maybe everybody sits around the table together. And that way you also can use some modeling of, all right, now we're focused, now we take a break. We know that adults' attention spans usually max out at about 45 minutes. I imagine small children's is much shorter than that. And so, again, with the expectation, saying, okay, we're going to work for this long, and then we're going to take a break, can help them feel successful and be successful.
I think that all makes sense. Kids tend to get bored really easily right now because we often overprogram them. You're going to this, then you're going to this, and then you're doing this, and then you're working on this. So I think, speaking of letting go of expectations, that you don't have to keep your kids entertained all the time. There's a lot of great things online. There's Busy Toddlers, one of them that I follow, and you can find all kinds of creative things to keep your kids engaged. But
boredom is wonderful.
Yeah, boredom is great. There's a lot to be said about boredom.
Creativity comes from boredom, right?
Exactly. So please don't feel the pressure to entertain your kids all the time. Let them come up with some ideas. Even let them come up with ideas of things that they want to learn. Maybe they've always want to learn how to make a flan or something. I wouldn't know how to do that, but maybe there's something that they want to learn. And so we have this time and space that we could do that perhaps.
And as a parent of teenagers, I can say when they have phones and they're always available, they will use those to avoid being bored. TikTok can take up a whole lot of time. And so one of the guidelines that we can put in place, or the structures that we can put in place, is to say it's non-media time now, and give them the opportunity, or make them, depending on how you want to see that, to figure out what they want to do with their time once they're finished with school. So school should have an ending. I guess that's another thing about the schedule is have a time for school, and then have a time where they can relax, and that's okay. But let them figure out, what do I do if I'm not online? That's where that boredom and the creativity that stems from that can really come into play and be fostered. It's one of the good things about this time, if as parents we put those guidelines into practice to help them, because otherwise most of them will stay on their phones most of the time.
Mm-hmm.
Anything else here?
I don't think so. I hope that helps figuring out some strategies for homeschooling.
Oh, I can think of one more. If as a parent you don't know how to help your child and your child really needs help, if you have any friends who happen to have some expertise in that area, or even if you can find a tutor online, now would be the time to go ahead and do that for your child, to try to help them be successful, because some kids are going to learn better from this method than others, and we don't know it all. Some of us haven't been in school for a very long time.
I know, I'm terrified my kids are going to find out how little I know about math. And
yeah, I'm just like, if it's, don't ask me. I haven't had it in that long, just don't ask me.
Yeah.
I'll help you find somebody else who knows.
But if you have any specific questions about your children's learning or about homeschool or anything, you can email one of us, and we'd be happy to send you some resources.
Thanks for watching.
Thank you.
I hope it's been helpful.